Are we flying? I am. That was lovely. I'm always so, truly, I'm lifted. But this morning, the words soaring and flying and all of that soaring is truly what we're meant to be and to experience in this thing called life. And this morning, Easter Sunday, is about that truth of our ability to live into that greatness that we already are owners of. And yet sometimes we don't take title of it. I begin this morning as this Easter Sunday. When I was a child, how many were children? I heard a few in here. And I love that. I love that during the song. Oh boy, kids. And we had our traditions. My parents would send us off to church so they could have a quiet Easter morning. That was their gift. And mine was going to church, and when we arrived back home, there was an Easter basket with, well, not flowers, but candy. We always had a new Easter outfit. And I had a lot of relatives who lived out of state, and they always sent me a card, an Easter card. And I thought it fitting to share this morning the idea of my card, my Easter card, because every holiday I received a card. Now, they didn't know what to buy me for birthdays or any of the holidays, but especially at Easter, which is now my tradition in my life, I would open up the card and I ceremoniously would shake it. I'm flying with this. I'll leave that for the kids. And so this month of awakening to our abundance is appropriate because not only the symbolism of the money in the card, I expect abundance in my life. It always came easily to me. When it didn't, I was thinking there should be more because I thought I didn't have enough. Anyone else? Yeah. But I always have had so much, so much. And what I know about today is this reminder of Easter. What a glorious day to be alive. So we are here to celebrate this glorious day and this glorious season. But not just today. There's a lot of story in Holy Week. It's called Holy Week. And it's a time to remember that we truly are whole, exalted, worthy, as one perfect in goodness and in righteousness. It's the reminders in which we are always immersed, surrounded, and lifted by when we pay attention. Holy, holy, holy. There's W-H-O, holy. Then there's holy smokes. And then there's holy. Let's say the word. Holy. What? Again. Holy. One more time. Holy. Do you feel the more you remind yourself of your holiness, your wholeness, that your body begins to open up to as the vessel which not holds that, but embraces and lifts it and can move it out into our experience and see more of the wholeness, experience more of the wholeness that this season reminds us of. For me, I believe the holy in Holy Week refers to the divinity of our spirit, of the one Spirit, the infinite within us. And as we increase our recognition of the God, the one Spirit, as all there truly is. And as we accept our oneness with this life force, this wholeness, the more easily we are able to travel this continuum, which is represented by the walk of Jesus on Palm Sunday into Jerusalem. There's that pathway that we follow in our life that is supported by our faith in whatever it is that we have faith in. So if we have faith in becoming something greater, and we know that we already begin with a sense of being whole, perfect, and complete, then it makes sense to me in my scientific mind and with this teaching that, sure enough, there I am as that. What I also believe is that there's a path laid before us. Breathe. Not predestined. Not a predestined path. It's the path of our beliefs. The path has not yet been paved until we choose what to pave it with. We choose the materials. We choose the experience. The walk on Palm Sunday of Jesus was all paved with all that he needed to come to the realization that he was a holy one. Not the, as he said, but a holy one. A Messiah. And we are too. We are too. We walk the path. People ridicule us. People support us. Whatever it takes for our unfoldment, we have paved that along our way to achieve our greater enlightenment and our awareness. I also believe that we are born of eternal goodness. We are born of eternal goodness. Can you believe it? Most of the time. Most of the time. Or maybe some of the time. Some of the time. There are times in life when there are situations where we get, our belief slows us down. And I've had a lot of that experience lately, which I won't share this morning. But it's a whole series of Sunday lessons, about 6, that I have in mind. But not all today. Not all today. The statement, all the gifts have been given in life. You know what I always say? You know, Spirit's loaded. Spirit's loaded. Spirit has supplied our experience with so much abundance. This morning, coming into the center, oh my goodness, the fragrance, the colors, the sky, the blooms, all of it. I tell myself, open up, Benson, and see the beauty. See the gift. And experience and bring it in. We are so blessed to live in a world that has so much already in it for us. One of my favorite statements is, yea, though I walk through the valley, I will not buy real estate. On the path. You see, Jesus did in the story of Palm Sunday to Easter, he stayed his course. He stayed his course. He didn't stop along the way and say, oh, I think I'm going to get off here and go over to this distraction. or get off over here and just stay. No, he stayed his course. And so our call this season is to be grateful for all that has led us through and down this pathway to our new resurrection. Because I believe we are resurrected every time we think aright. Every time we remind ourselves that, yes, I am whole. I am wholeness. I am holy. I also believe that the Palm story is an example of what Jesus the Christ knew of newness, of something new, something creating something greater. And he spoke of his word, and he lived by his word. And he did so in profound ways, as been documented. The truth is, we do too. We just don't have a writer for the book yet. That's our call to do that. We write that. He understood the word and the power and how it works for life. Now, the word word, defined by Dr. Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook, tells us it's the ability of spirit to declare itself into manifestation, into form. The Word of God means that it's the self-contemplation of the Spirit. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What is the word for your, is it holy? Is it wholeness? Or am I not quite there yet? In our book this month, for the month of April, it's called The Soul of Money. And some people think money, shouldn't be discussed in, church or spirituality. But there's an energy to money that that I learned many years ago, because money is no good. It comes out of the Hello, Dolly, when Dolly Levi is saying, money is like manure. It's no good unless it's spread around. I mean, it causes something to grow. So if you're stingy with your life in any way, that diminishes. The Easter story with Jesus, he was generous, and everything grew out of the word that he spoke in abundant ways. And he changed, through the teachings at that time, how we viewed the word. And then Ernest Holmes takes the word and makes it more palpable to our life today. So in this chapter, The Soul of Money, chapter 10, is titled The Power of Conversation. I'd like to quote from Intuit, I-N-T-U-Y-T, Intuit Wisdom. Words do not label things already there. Words are the knife of a carver. They free the idea from the general formless of the outside. As a man speaks, not only is his language in a state of birth, but also the very thing about which he is talking. So with every word that is spoken, it has a tendency to create for us. And the Easter story is about rebirthing. The idea of rebirthing, the idea of coming into a new, greater understanding. From form to formless, back into form. Dr. Ernest Holmes tells us life is one perfect wholeness. The universe is a unit. God is one. It is impossible for a man to feel separated from the Spirit without feeling lost and in want. This is why Jesus said he could do nothing of himself, but could only work as the current of divinity. As the current of divinity ran through his mentality. You can only work through the sense of belief and wholeness that we have through our word. He continues, Dr. Holmes does, and says, that subtle something which runs through all things and which we call that very thing itself. And so we're always in this resurrection mode of life. Through everything we say and do, all that we cherish, all that we deem as holy. So as we move into springtime, out of this season of Easter, I am reminded to share with you the way we do our lives. It's a time for us to, as my parents taught me, to stop, to look, and to listen to ourselves. To go to that wholeness, that holy place within the sepulcher of our minds. My parents said, before I stepped into the street at an intersection, watch out, pay attention. What's ahead of you? Make a choice. Do you step off? Do you wait? Remember, that which you manifest is before you. And where we choose to travel, how we choose to get there in our own mind and consciousness is what shows up for us along that path. I'd like to share with you a little bit of the Palm Sunday story because I missed it last week. Just because I like the reminder of what that is. And it's a great metaphor for following our inner voice into that which supports our highest good. And the story goes, Jesus entered Jerusalem, and lo and behold, there was a high celebration, a welcome unparalleled. His followers, which metaphysically is the supportive thoughts, lined the streets and came into form, and laid down before him cloaks from around their shoulders. His path was made clear. He was living into his spiritual destiny, his high purpose. And he did so on the royal symbol of that day, and that being the back of wasn't a donkey, it was a colt. How many thought donkey? I did till about, 10 years ago. I don't know why. It was just. I heard it. I believed it, and there you are. But it wasn't true. Another example. I was telling a false story, and I'm glad I had the clarity. Well, a colt is defined as a young male foal, one who is untried, one not of the ways of the world, pure, untried. And so the message is that our truest beliefs and highest intentions, the purest of intentions, line our way, supporting all along the way. And when we take that precious moment to listen as we travel in our way, in our path, then the inner voice of Spirit can be heard. As I said before, this is one of the highest times in the world of remembering God, spirit, source, whichever religion or organization is mostly, I think most religions, honor this week, this time, this message. And so, I don't know if you can feel it, but it's a palpable energy that connects in a good way the entire world. And it's a wonderful connection to have today in these times, in these experiences, because sometimes we get caught up in all of the things along the path of distractions, and we don't stay pure and clear to what is whole and truth and pure for us, which is our truth, which is our truth. So I'm knowing that each one of us, as we move out today on this Easter Sunday, do so with a sense of sacredness, honoring who you truly are, which is spirit, and to let that pure spirit, draw you down the path that you choose. We are reclaiming our path every moment from the higher spiritual perspective, if we allow it. Deepak Chopra reminds us that all of life resides in a field of potentiality. That all we need to be is who we are. It's already here in the one mind, the mind of God. So as I conclude my lesson today, I would like you to affirm with me that which I manifest is before me. I stop, I look, and I listen, and move forward awakened. And roll away and remove all the barriers to my truth. I step out, awakened, joyful, whole, and in love with all of life. And so it is. Namaste.